Welcome to Mysterious Places and Events, episode 4. Today we're going to talk about an experience that happened a long time ago and it was very interesting, a UFO sighting. Stay tuned and we'll talk about it more. Years ago, I thought that UFO sightings were just fake, were just like nothing. I thought people did them for attention, people saw them for money. I thought that the whole thing was a complete hoax. I was invited on a 1-week backpacking trip with my friend from college named Curtis. His grandfather owned a cattle ranch in Cedar City, Utah. And every year they would backpack from the mountains of Curtis's grandfather all the way to Zion's National Park. It's about a 50-mile hike and about 25 miles as the crow flies. His grandfather's mountain ranch late in the afternoon, about 3 or 4 p.m. And we just decided we were going to set up camp because we had a big day ahead of us. We arrived and all the people were huddled up together with tents. And Curtis and I looked at that and said, let's just go and find a pasture and camp out by ourselves. We saw an area that was very flat and there's a lot of cows there. And we went ahead and told the cows to leave. We moved the cows away because we wanted their spot. As the night went on, it got darker and darker. We were in the middle of nowhere and the sky became brilliant. The stars were so beautiful. The sky was just lighting up with the stars. It was just amazing. And Curtis and I were looking for Sputniks. We call them Sputniks, the satellites. And we saw one go overhead and we were talking all evening long. It was just wonderful. Chatting. We slept under the stars. I had my sleeping bag and Kurt had his sleeping bag and we just looked up into the stars. It was just amazing. So we were talking and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning and Curtis finally fell asleep. Then something strange and unbelievable happened. I was just stargazing alone as my friend was sleeping in his sleeping bag. And suddenly out of like nowhere, this light descended from the sky. It was a bright, white, brilliant light, and it just descended, and then it made like a zigzag pattern, a pattern coming down that I've never seen in my life by any plane or helicopter. Then it stopped, not too far away, maybe a few hundred yards away, and I felt a creepy feeling like it was looking at us. And I started spooking because I didn't believe that these things are possible. I had no idea that there was any ETs in there. And I just freaked out. Kurt woke up and he thought it was a bear. We were being attacked by a bear because I guess there's a lot of bears in this mountain region of southern Utah. The thought dawned on me, I'm gonna be abducted by this thing. And I was scared. I like screamed and Kurt thought it was a bear like I mentioned. And when I screamed, the object, the UFO, it took off in a 45-degree pattern up into the sky and disappeared like thousands of miles an hour. And I think it was watching us because when I screamed and freaked out, the thing like, we're out of here, and took off. So it was really weird and it was a spooky feeling and I did not really like it. After that experience, it took me several more hours to fall asleep. I did not want to sleep. I kept waiting for that thing to come back, but it never did. The next day, everyone was talking about it, and I turned around and said, how do you know about this experience? And Kurt went ahead and blabbed to everyone like, oh, Brian saw this strange thing coming to the campsite. And Kurt's father, Richard, especially made a lot of fun of it. The whole trip, he kept like laughing and saying stories like, oh, and I felt really bad because I saw something really strange in the sky and he kept mocking me and making a joke out of it. We had about a week trip into the mountains there, going zigzagging into the area through the creeks and rivers. And it was just crazy. We had one near-death experience. I almost died. I got washed into a rapid river, and we were hiking and with like going down ropes and stuff like that. It was just crazy, and I was pretty scared because if we got injured, there's no way out. But finally we finished, and it was just a really wonderful trip through the Narrows. It was just gorgeous down there, and it was wonderful. We ended up at the visitor center, and we went to the car that was waiting for us. Maybe a year later, I was over at Kurt's house having dinner with him. His family always invited me over for dinner, and I said, okay, I'll have dinner. As I was having dinner, Richard said, the father, I want to talk to you after dinner. And I said, all right. After dinner, he pulled me aside quietly and he said, do you remember that UFO experience that you had at my grandfather's and my father's ranch in Cedar City, Utah? And I said, yes, I remember. I remember. I'll never forget that. He said, I want to tell you that what you saw was true. I grew up there as a young boy, and there was lots of these experiences all the time. I saw them left and right. And I just want you to know that what you saw was not an illusion. I responded to Richard like, why did you like laugh at me the whole trip? Why were you mocking me and like making fun of me? I was kind of mad a little bit that his attitude was so like laughing all the time and making a joke out of it. And he said, I was so shocked that that happened to you that it just went over and over on my mind, and I just like didn't know what to do, so I just kept making fun of you. That's my experience of a close encounter of the third kind. It freaked me out because I have this like phobia of being abducted. I do not want anyone to take me anywhere. I want to be in full control of where I go. After that, I never went hiking and camping out alone in the wilderness. I like got scared. So that was the end of my hiking and camping days. I said, I will stay in hotels and places like that. It's a little more safe. That's it. Episode 4 of Mysterious Places and Events. The UFO encounter, that was a strange one. I've seen lots of different objects after that, but none so close. I hope you liked the UFO experience. It was one crazy time. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell.